Hi everyone, it's Krista and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not new, hello again. Happy fall, y'all. So I know it's been a while, so let me get into my channel first. DIYs, I do on a budget, Dollar Tree DIYs, thrift flips, farmhouse and rustic, wreaths, and seasonal decor. So if you like what you see here, you know what to do. Hit that red subscribe button. Also, leave me a comment. I love to hear what you guys think. And also, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. That helps my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and Facebook. But today is all about what would you make. And what we're doing is we're taking wood and we're going to make something beautiful out of them. The hosts are OK at Home DIY, Connie's Workshop, and are more about that in a minute. First, DIY number 1. So the first DIY, I am taking some of this, burlap like ribbon, and also some of these from Hobby Lobby. That sunflower is. This sign is from Dollar Tree from the spring, and I'm also going to be using those paints. So the first paints that I'm using, the first thing I'm doing is I'm going to take one of these leaves and I'm just going to use it as a template, and I'm going to trace it onto the burlap, and then I'm just going to cut it out. So now the next thing is I'm going to take this ribbon and I'm going to use the burlap, and I'm just going to trace out again another leaf in this. What I'm doing is I'm making different textures of leaves to put with our sunflower, which you'll see in a minute. Next, I'm going to take the fabric that I showed you that I had in my stash for a long time, and I am just going to trace out another leaf onto the fabric. I did I think 4 of each. And then I'm going to take this scrapbook paper. It's fall scrapbook paper that I've had for a while, but you could get your scrapbook paper at Hobby Lobby. And then I'm just going to trace out a piece of it on the sign. And then I'm going to use this one for the top part. Now I do end up switching this out, I believe, but then what I did is I just traced it again for the top portion, and we're going to do like half and half. So next I'm going to take some of this Mod Podge, and I'm just going to smooth that out on the bottom part, and we're going to stick down our scrapbook paper that we traced out, and I'm just going to put that down, and it's going to be nice and smooth, which you'll see in a minute. I ironed mine on because what it does is it helps it not to create any bubbles or any crinkles in it or anything like that, and it makes it just stay real nice and smooth onto whatever you're putting it onto. So next I'm going to use the next piece, and I'm going to do that on the top part and smooth that out. And then what I do is I take some parchment paper and my little mini iron, and I'm just going to smooth it out like I said, and that helps it not to bubble or anything. So really, really simple. You could use a regular iron too if you don't have one of these mini irons. That works just as fine. And then next I'm using my sander, and I just sanded the edges off of any paper that was hanging off the edges. Next I'm taking some of this Antique Wax by Waverly, and I'm just going around the edges with my stencil brush, and I'm just kind of giving it a rustic look, and then I'm going to go over all along the top of it as well with that brush. Just very dry brushing here. And if it gets a little heavy in a spot, this scrapbook paper is really great because it's heavy duty, and I just use a wipey to wipe it off. Next, I'm going to use this ribbon that I got off of Amazon. It is in my Amazon shop. I will have that link down in my description box for y'all if you want to purchase some of this stuff. It comes with all different designs, and it's really, really pretty. And I just glued it down in the front, just put a little line, and next I'm just going to glue it to the back so it stays nice and secure. And then once we get that glued down, I'm going to take the thankful sign, the metal signs that you get at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to use my dark chocolate this is, and a makeup sponge, and I'm just going to sponge it. I'm just dabbing it. I want this to look like rusty. Oops, sorry, that's my dog. I'm just going to use a rusty, I want it to look rusty. So what I'm doing is I am using the next is a pipe, I can't remember, but it's rusted pipe, that's what it is, sorry. And that is with, my dog got me so messed up right now. So then I took the sunflower and I cut the stem off, and I'm going to use the leaves off of this pick that I got from, I believe it was Hobby Lobby. And then I'm just going to kind of like work around and try and figure out how I want to put these leaves. You could do it any which way you want. This took me a bit because I don't know. I wanted them in certain spots, so I'm very picky when it comes to certain things. And then you're going to do is I'm just putting glue on the bottom part of the leaves because I want the leaves not to be flat to the sign. I want them to kind of like stick out a little bit and not be so flat. So I just used a little bit of hot glue and I'm just gluing them down around my sunflower. And this sign came out so pretty, you guys. I absolutely love the sunflower. And I love using these sunflowers from Hobby Lobby because they're so like realistic looking. I think they're the best looking sunflowers I've seen. And then I'm going to use some of this. It reminds me of fishing. I don't know. It just reminds me of fishing, that ribbon. But I used it in quite a bit of nautical theme DIYs that I've done. And then I just glued it all down. And then I'm just going to glue down my sunflower in the center. Look how pretty that looks. Isn't it pretty? I love it. And then I'm taking the thankful sign and I am going to stick that down with some hot glue. You could use E6000 for this too, but mine stuck down and it was fine. It hasn't come off, so that's what I used. And then I just put a nice little white, what do you call that? Some white beads on the top and made a hanger. So yes, today is all about what would you make, and the guest host is Creating with JC, and then Connie Woodshop and DIYs is our host, and so is OK at Home DIYs. There will be a playlist down below and all of their links to their channels. Please go check everyone out. And now it's DIY number 2. I'm going to use this cutting board sign from the Dollar Tree. It was from Easter, but they have them out all the time now for every season. And some fabric that I ripped into strips, that little sunflower, that wood, piece of wood from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to paint the top part. Now, I switched this to the back because the front was a mess when I took that little piece off. So I'm just using the back part instead because it's a nice piece. But you could do like how you want for whatever you're using. So the top part I did with the truffle paint by Waverly. And then I also painted the stick by Waverly. The same thing, the truffle. Then the bottom portion I am using a beige color. It's just a acrylic paint that I had, and I'm going to do the bottom. I believe it's Beachcomber that I actually used. Next, I'm going to take the white by Waverly chalk paint, and I'm just going to go along the edges of the truffle on the top portion, and then I am going to also dry brush all the top part of that as well as the wood piece too. So I'm just going to paint all of that. And I'm doing a really dry brush with it. I just wanted it to stand out a little bit. And then I also did the stick too. And then once that's done, I'm going to take some of this glue. It's a super wood glue you get at the Dollar Tree, and some hot glue, and I'm going to stick that down. And can you guess what we're making, guys? I am making a little scarecrow. Next, I'm just going to free draw the scarecrow's face. I've done this quite a bit, so I'm kind of used to it now. If you aren't used to doing freehand, what you could do is you can print out anything and use carbon paper and just trace it out with that. You can print it off your printer and then use the carbon paper to trace it onto your piece that you're using. Next, I'm just using a black marker, and I'm just going over the lines that I made for the face. And then I'm doing the little mouth. And then I did put like little stitch marks on it as well. And then I used my orange acrylic marker, paint marker to color in the nose. And then the eyes I just did black. Really, really simple. It's not that hard. And then I'm going to take some of the raffia and I'm going to stick it underneath a little bit. Now, what I should have did is I could have done the raffia underneath the stick and then, you know, did it that way, and then, you know, push the stick down with the glue. But I decided it was too late, so I just decided to do it like that. and I just made a little bit of hair with it. And then I used this distressed, you could use any ink pad though, and I'm using a little brush, stencil brush, and I'm giving him little cheeks, little rosy cheeks. And then next, I'm going to make one of my raggy bows. I love making these, you guys. What I do is I just take strips of fabric and I just cut it into strips, and then I just alternate it, and I just keep putting it in my Brodabra, and I keep just flipping it back and forth. Really easy. And I just keep doing that with different ones. And I love the way this looks, especially for these type of rustic looking DIYs. I just think they just look so great, and they're not hard to make because I really don't like making regular bows. I mean, I do like for wreaths and stuff, but for something like this, I love making these raggy bows. I just think they're so simple. There's no right or wrong way to do it, and I think they just look really great. And if you like the rustic look, this is the way to go. So I just kept doing it, and these fabrics, most of them that I used are from Dollar Tree. So, you know, they've really had a lot of great fabrics lately at Dollar Tree. So that's what I used. And I just kept this in here so you guys could see how I make it, because I do use it for another DIY, so I just want you guys to see how I make it. And then next, I took some of the raffia again, and I just took a piece of it and I stick that in the center of it. And then I'm just going to use a zip tie. I just pull it all out, hold it together, put a zip tie, and tie it all really good. And then I cut the zip tie there on the end, and then I'm just going to fluff it out a little bit, move it around. And then I just trimmed up the raffia, and I also trimmed up the edges of whatever was hanging down that was too long. And that's it. And then I just kind of poofed it out a little bit, and then I'm just going to stick it down onto our scarecrow with some hot glue. And then for the center of it, I'm going to use the little sunflower, and these I got from the Dollar Tree as well. And that's it for this little guy. Isn't he cute? I love the way he turned out. You guys let me know which one you like the best down below in the comments. So now DIY number 3. So this DIY, I'm going to be using one of these wooden pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, a Hello Fall sign from the Dollar Tree, one of these tiles from the Dollar Tree, some string, one of those burlap flowers from the Dollar Tree, and some paints. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over that tile, and I'm going to trace out my pumpkin. Now, I know you guys have seen these quite a bit. People use these tiles all the time for different things. I love them. I love making them, and every year I have to make one with this tile. Now that I've done it with these tiles, I just love the way it turns out. So this one's going to be a really rustic pumpkin. So next, I just use some hot glue, and I just glue down the tile to the front part of the pumpkin. And then once I get that all down nice, I'm going to take the pumpkin by Waverly paint, and I'm going to paint the front of that with that color. Now, I decided that this pumpkin is way too bright for me, and I was going for a rustic color, so I come in with a burnt orange, and it's just a acrylic paint, and I go over the top of that. And what this does is it's giving it a nice two-tone color as well, which I really like. So this was a great idea. Sometimes I change my mind as I go when I am doing my DIYs, so it's just something we do as crafters. And then once that was all dry, I'm going to use the burnt umber paint, and I'm going to go along the edges of the pumpkin with that in my stencil brush. And what it's going to do is just going to bring it out even more, make it look a little more rustic, like I like. And then I'm going to use the sponge, and I'm just going to sponge in certain spots. Okay, don't worry, this is not going to look like this. We're going to smooth it out. So once I get it, you know, on there like how I want it, then I'm going to take a wipey, and I'm going to just kind of like rub it a little bit, not too hard, really lightly, and just smudge it out in certain spots. And you just get it the way you like it. And then I'm going to take some twine, and I'm going to use that for the top part of my pumpkin for the stem, and I'm just going to keep wrapping it around and then glue it to the back when I'm all done. Next, I'm going to paint the Hello Fall sign with that burnt umber color. And then we're going to take some of this burlap ribbon that I've had in my stash for a while, but I did get this from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to cut a strip, put it towards the bottom part of my pumpkin, and I'm just going to glue that down. And I just secure it in the back really tight. You want to pull it tight. And then I'm going to also put a line of beaded glue going along the bottom part of it as well. And then once I do that, I'm going to take my white chalk paint and I'm going to go around, and I'm just going to dry brush the Hello Falls as well, just so it kind of looks more rustic and sticks out a little bit. And then I'm going to use my hot glue, and I'm going to glue that to the top part in the one corner there of my pumpkin on top of the burlap. And then I'm going to take one of these bows that I made. It's a raggy bow. I used lace in this one as well. You can use lace ribbon too, and also some raffia. And I glued that down to the other corner of my pumpkin. And then I just trimmed up whatever needed to be trimmed. And doesn't that look so cute? And then I took the the burlap flower, and I glued that to the center of my pumpkin. And that's it, you guys. So I hope you liked everything. I know it's been a while. I am coming back, so don't worry. And I want to thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check everyone out, and don't forget to subscribe. And as always, remember, stay crafty. Bye.